Good morning, good day, good beginning of a new segment of time if you're starting school today. I was not home much this summer. I was probably home for 3 weeks, and it was like 3 separate weeks, and it wasn't even full weeks when I was home. So I spent a lot of time in my car and a lot of time by myself, which isn't totally unusual. So there was a lot of thinking and there was a lot of listening. And so I had like listening to audiobooks, and I had written this list of like things that like nuggets that I had taken away from the summer. So I'm just going to go through them and you can chew on them, or you can turn this video off and scroll to something else. So the first one was, a lot of these are probably things that I have already said. If you read my content, follow my blog. So continually updating your thinking. I strongly suggest reading Think Again by Adam Grant, or listening to it. So if you think about your phone and the updates, it's frustrating because you may be used to using it a certain way and then you update and something shifts, but that's how our thinking should be, that we're continually updating, because life is continuing to evolve. So it's a mindset, like how can I update my thinking? How can I think differently about this? If you catch yourself in like a fixed, like, oh, well, that's not me, I don't do that. And then you can catch it and kind of say, well, what if I did do that? What would be different? So update. And then this is one that just stuck with me. It was an author, someone I follow a while ago, and she just had this epiphany, like she needs to write herself into the story. So what does that mean, to write yourself into the story? And one thing, so Think Again from Adam Grant was that book. Metahuman by Deepak Chopra is a book that it's like, I just really need to listen, and then like some of it is just mind-blowing, and then others I just can't, other parts of it I can't really connect to yet. I try, rewind. But like I think it was his book, and so you think cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. So in that case, we're constantly reacting to the stimulus. We're constantly acting to the conditions. But it's since we have the ability to create and imagine the way we want things to be, so we get stuck on what we don't want. If we flip that, we know what we do want. So when we know what's wrong and we point at what's wrong, do we know what's right? Like, what if we got what we wanted? What would it be like? What would it be different? So how could we write ourselves into the story we want to tell instead of pushing against? Worthy rivals is a phrase from Adam Grant's Think Again, I think. There's another book I can't think of the, no, this is Simon Sinek, and I can't think of the name of the book. Yes, I can. Simon Sinek. Unfortunately, I probably won't edit this. I'm sorry for you right now, but it's, I can't think of it. But anyway, Simon Sinek he shared these terms, a worthy rival. So when we're observing the world around us and we catch something that might normally we may think we're lacking in it, or we start to compare. Instead, when there's things of value in others that we notice, that we appreciate these things in others, and we could consider these people in our lives to be worthy rivals. Like, oh, cool, I want to develop this part of me just like that person. And Simon Sinek actually used the example that he used to be in competition with Adam Grant over, book sales and presentations and stuff. And then he kind of flipped his thinking of like a worthy rival to elevate. And he also used this like disagreeing. So like using that we tend to, in social situations, be in agreement, go along to get along. But if we disagree, we're elevating the when we disagree, if we're doing it in a way to elevate like the common good, obviously that's a useful tool. So I like that thinking, like disagree to elevate. So you have to kind of have an awareness of why you're making a choice to disagree or whatever. And then this is just a simple one that is used in school a lot, but I think people that don't work in schools, it's just a simple tool. It's 2 circles. The middle circle is just listing the things that you have control over. The big circle, things you can't control, and then focusing on the things you can control. This one I've been wanting, I'll probably share more, but like this whole idea of cancel culture, it's an interesting thing because we each have preferences and opinions, right? We each have the things that we find interesting. So I don't think it's unusual to unfollow something that's just not relevant to you anymore. But it doesn't have to be a smear campaign. If you make a choice to unfollow, you made that choice from your own preference. It doesn't need to be a smear campaign. And a middle schooler is actually the one that taught me that when some kids had a disagreement with her and they smeared her on social media, and she was saying, like, I can understand why they got mad at me, or this one person got mad at me, but I don't understand why they had to try to make everybody mad at me. And I think that's a really interesting way of thinking. And then this last one is Deepak Chopra's Metahuman. And he says when we attach to this like way of in our mind thinking, I am this, I am that, depending on how we use that phrasing and how we bring context to that, when we narrowed it down and say, I am, we can leave out all of this other stuff that's useful and interesting and part of this great, diversity and this like shared humanity. So when you attach, you can turn away from a lot. And obviously there's probably like a balance in that. So that's my list. And I hope you've got a nugget to chew on. And namaste.